What's up, YouTube, video viewers, people of the world? Wanted to make a little video about proper methodology on cleaning up a gasket surface. I want to go over the do's and the don'ts. What I have here is a 2004 Pontiac Vibe engine pulled out. This is a junkyard motor I grabbed after abusing the literal shit out of this thing that I'd had for years. I ran all over Las Vegas with it. A lot of climate change, throughout the year out there. Ran it like 20,000 miles on a couple of the oil changes. Didn't check the coolant. Had a whole family of mice living in the airbox. I didn't care. Had good money back then, and figured I'd just run this Toyota for all it's worth. Toyota pride. But anyway, first things first, I didn't show the removal of the oil pan. But when you're breaking that seal initially, there's always a torque sequence you want to follow. Go by the manufacturer's spec. If it says start with 1, go to 1. Loosen it a little bit, go to number 2, and just follow the sequence. Usually it's going to be some kind of crisscross star pattern. And it is important to do when you're trying to mate a perfectly flat machine surface against another. You don't want to distort any of the metal. If it gets any kind of warpage to it, you could have problems. So when you're going around and breaking that seal initially, you can carefully, do that just scraping at it gradually with like a gasket scraper or a putty knife or something with a dull edge. If you want to be risky with it, a razor knife, carefully used, you might have to. Might make it a little easier. But the one thing you don't ever want to do is mar up a machine surface. And that means dig into it, gouge it, put burrs in it, things that can cause gaskets not to seat, especially if you're talking about a head gasket. If you distort that surface, you're wasting a lot of time and money. Now or later, but it's going to the machine shop if you ever want it to run right for a long time anyway, like ever again. You don't want to distort the gasket surface. So when you're taking that oil pan off or that valve cover, well, not necessarily a valve cover, but anything that is relatively flimsy like an oil pan, you're going to probably have to pry, wedge something in there at multiple points and kind of pry evenly all around to break that seal. That's the best thing you can do. Now, if you're going to do this, these little Bondo applicators, cheap enough, go buy a few. That plastic isn't going to dig anything up, so it's safe to wedge in there and kind of use it to pry with the leverage to break that initial seal. Once you get that off, you're going to have residual RTV or silicone sealant left all along the surface, various spots. You want to make sure all that's cleaned off. Now, a lot of guys I've seen, well, not a lot, but a few that I've seen and spoken to, grab your whiz wheel, grab your die grinder, take your wire wheel, clean it up fast. I've never had any issues. Well, that's cool, but I like to not, live on the edge of extra stress and worry. Got enough of that in life, so continue on when you see this residual. Being careful to scrape away from the internals of the engine. You don't want to get anything inside the engine. On that note, you never want to spray like brake cleaner in there or anything to try to dislodge that gunk and build up sludge that it's going to have in an engine that's ran. If you disturb that, all that's going to break free at some point, especially when it's circulating hot oil and lubricating it up more, and it's going to go right in through your oil galleries. It's going to clog passages up that you can't see or access, and it's going to cause a failure. So just leave that undisturbed. But as you're going around the surface, put decent pressure if you're using plastic, like you should be, back and forth just to scrape that old RTV off, okay? You'll have some stubborn spots, but if you work at it long enough, it'll start to break free. Now, if you're using a credit card, they're a little more rigid and sharp. They'll work a little bit better in some places. Sometimes you won't need them. If you got to get aggressive, and use metal, use this backside of the blade and scrape and put down pressure so it's perfectly flat as you're doing so. You don't want to use this sharp edge. You will dig in and etch up your surface, risking failure. So again, get as good as you can. At the end of this, again, making sure that you haven't scraped this RTV loose into the engine. Again, you don't want anything floating in there that could, melt or clog up an oil gallery and starve the engine of oil anywhere, because it's got to have oil in a lot of places to run properly. But after you've gotten most everything off that you can, that method, take a shop rag, spray some brake clean on it, some degreaser, some kind of a good evaporative solvent. Use gloves when you use it because that shit causes cancer. Go all around the surface, just rubbing that extra residual that might be like embedded into the metal. You want to wipe it with some elbow grease, some brake clean, a shop rag, get it perfectly clean. You always want your gasket surfaces where components mate together to be perfectly clean before you apply a new bead of RTV or a new gasket. It's imperative. So once you get it perfectly clean, you're ready to go. When you go to apply a liquid gasket, I've found it had very good experience with this stuff by Permatex. It used to be their own brand, but I guess Permatex bought them out. But it's called the right stuff. It sets up extremely fast. I think when they first came out, they were advertising, this seal is good for a million miles. I resealed a few oil pans with this stuff, other components, water pumps, whatever. Stuff is awesome. It never has leaked for me. Always seals up. It's expensive, but it works very well. I recommend it. When you go and do that, make sure that you go with a thin bead. Probably for this surface, 1/8 of an inch is the max you want to put on, because as you put your oil pan back on or whatever is going to seat against that other mating surface, it's going to compress that bead down and squeeze it out. You don't want any of that RTV getting into the engine and pumping through those oil galleries. So you go as thin as possible, but with adequate coverage. You don't want to have a little spot where you don't get any. That's too risky. You want to make sure you've gone all the way around the surface. Remember, 1/8 of an inch. This is probably a 1/2 inch surface here. So I'm going to put an 1/8 inch. Go around your female threads here. Personally, when I get to here, around my female threads that I have machined in the block, I'm going to go to about a 1/16 of an inch bead, as close to the edge of this threaded portion, go around, and then go around the back side as well, and go all the way to the next one, back to the 1/8 inch bead. So again, once you do that, you can either apply it to the oil pan or to the block surface. It doesn't really matter as long as you're careful putting it back on. You don't want to, when you're reseating an oil pan or something, you want to get it lined up directly and be super careful not to smear and distort where you've laid your bead, or you're going to have problems. Again, since I used the manufacturer torque or detorquing sequence, starting at whatever they recommend, like 1, 2, 3, loosening slightly, moving back and forth, usually like a crisscross star pattern, just like a torque sequence of some sort. You want to loosen just a little bit, move to the next one, loosen just a little bit, just to let that metal, like this flimsy oil pan, come off without distorting. You don't want to have, thin metal or metal that's not necessarily that rigid or is rigid get distortion before you reinstall it, because if it distorts, it's not going to seal properly. And by contrast, when you're going back on, always follow the torque sequence. Don't just zip them on